In this episode, I show you how I took my standard dual cab ute tray and turned it into the ultimate lightweight touring setup. And the best part is, you can do the same. So today's really the first day I'm going to get started on this tray, and what I'm going to do is just remove the standard headboard, get that out of the way so we can fabricate the new one, take the guards off, and also trim this little tie down rail here that'll allow my canopy to sit down on top of it. The canopy I've got actually sits smack bang right on top of it, so I don't really want the gap underneath it, so I'm just basically going to measure out 1300, which is the length of the canopy, cut down into it and remove this little section here. So before I could send the grinder through the side of this tray, I had to remove these little tie down rails, the mud guards and a few other random bolts that were in the way. Once the tie down rail was trimmed for the canopy to fit, next up was to remove the factory headboard and get ready for the custom made one that'll suit the canopy. Well, that's all I'm going to get done today. The light's getting a little bit low now, so tomorrow I'll chuck that canopy on because now it's going to fit with those little tray bits removed. Headboard's off, mudguards are off, tie down rails are off, so basically now we're just going to take the fabricators, get the headboard made tomorrow, and then it's all starting to come together. When it comes to ute trays and canopies, there's an overwhelming amount to choose from. So after a lot of looking around, I went with Apex Off-Road. I wanted a setup that I could be genuinely proud of, one that's going to seal the water and dust out, unlike the cheap crap we've had in the past. The idea was to get my N80 looking just as good as this, but doing it my way and spending the money on the good gear as it's needed, and modifying and doing what I can to keep a bit of a budget. And that unfortunately did mean I couldn't take home one of their DIY tray kits, but I think at the end of this video you'll be pretty impressed with how this all turns out. Now, because we're dealing with aluminium and I've got no clue on how to glue that stuff together, I hit up a mate Alec to give me a hand. Whilst Alec got stuck into working his magic on the headboard, I jumped onto a much easier task of fitting the canopy's rear wing. And to be honest, I never thought I'd be putting a wing on a 4-cylinder diesel ute, but you can't argue with how good they look. Whilst Alec was laying down some fat dime bags that I definitely wasn't going to even try to attempt, I was screwing some SHFs underneath the tray to space the guards and the toolboxes down to meet the lip of the stock tray, ready for Alec to weld on for a solid mounting spot. Back here in the driveway now, and next plan of attack is to get these guards and the tray toolboxes all bolted on. So because the taillights didn't rock up in time, we couldn't really fabricate the whole taillight section because we didn't really know what angles to work with, so waiting basically until they rock up. But for now, all I'm going to do is just basically tech screw the guards and the toolboxes to the underside of the tray. That way I can work out the spacing between the back of the tray toolbox and the taillight section, just to work out distances and things. Then I'll head back around to Alex and get that bit fabbed up when the tail lights rock up. So basically, as for fitting these guards, I'm just going to keep it really simple. I'm just going to use these little slots here so I have a bit of room to play, because I'm still running the small tyres, like they're only 30-inch tyres with a POS 30 rim. They're quite far in, and eventually I'll run a wide offset with a bigger tyre. So with these little slots, at least I can slide the guards in and out a little bit so I can make sure I cover those tyres up. Basically it all lines up with these two rails here, and I'll just smash some textures in it for now. Probably just put 4 in to hold it in place. I'll do the same to this. That way I've got my measurements between where the back of this basically finishes off. I'm assuming it'll stop probably around about here. That way we can just sort of fill this section in with the taillight section and make it all nice and neat. So that bottle jack can hold that guard basically in place for me to muck around with it, get it all centered and lined up. I'll make sure that for now it's probably just on the edge of the tray. That'll still cover that tyre up fine. It's not going to foul on the inside either. If I go for a bit of a play around, there's plenty of room. It is a 35-inch suitable guard, so these little tyres have a stupid amount of room in there, but it's going to look hot when it's all done up. So I've had a bit of an oversight here. I've actually made these spaces, like the rails that we welded to the tray, to suit the guards and not the toolboxes. So to actually reach this side here to be able to screw into it, the toolbox has to be basically flush with the mounts of the tray, which doesn't really line up on the sides. It kind of looks funny. So we're gonna have to weld another support, one of these, further out on the inside, just so I can have this into 2 rails and not just hanging off the one. Anyway, lucky I know a bloke who can weld. So there we go. To explain the predicament further, I've got the toolbox basically where I want it sitting, flush with the side of the ute here, and then there's my mounts for it. Completely missed it. So unfortunately I'm going to need another one of these welded just on the edge there, so at least I can have it screwed into 2 rails and not just the one. Whoops. So I reckon I've got this toolbox in the right spot now. Got it set up so I can open the door up with enough of a gap so it doesn't hit on the guard, which is sweet. I'm going to put a few Tech screws in it now and yeah, screw it in so the thing doesn't fall down, because it's pretty sketchy sitting here on this jack. And now we've got our distances between the back of the toolbox to the taillight section to fill in, and hopefully Alec can work his magic and make it all look nice and flash. So another day, we're back into it. Today's mission, basically this morning, just gonna rip these tail lights off, take off the number plate, all the bracketry basically that's getting in the way down here, and then take it back around to Alex, and we're gonna fabricate up this tail light section. So after undoing what felt like bloody 600 bolts to get all the extra crap off the back of the tray, it was closer to getting ready to boost around and get the rear end sorted. And lucky I had a bit of help from someone who actually knew what they were doing. What are you doing? Get out of it, you! What are you doing with the camera? You're my film chick, are you? Take over. Can you move your head?
Move your head.
Move your head. So I'm heading off to Alex again this morning. I managed to take those little taillight shrouds off the back of the tray and just basically have the taillights bolted on just by 1 bolt, so when I get there it's easy to remove and we can get stuck into fabricating up this tail section. Taillights still haven't arrived yet, so I'm just basically going to jump on their website and work out their measurements and dimensions and things so we can mock it all up and make it all look schmicko. Back from Alex, and he's done a mint job of making this tail section all nice and neat. So the main plan was just to keep it really simple and just to sort of follow that profile of the toolbox to make it sort of tie into it. Most train canopies that people do on these dual cabs are only 1650 long, so they kind of end about here. but I wanted that extra bit of room so I can put some push blocks in the back and have a bit of room at the back for firewood and spare wheel, bit of dirty gear or whatever I need. So a bit more practical, I think. And he's also managed to make this little end piece here nice and neat too, just by putting a little cap on it, just to tie it all into the headboard. So the mission for now basically is to get this canopy on and just to make sure it lines up with the headboard. I'll drill my holes in the tray, that way the holes are already there, and once it's powder coated I'm not putting more metal swarf over it and that. Bloody keen to see what it looks like with this canopy on it properly. Well, it's pretty bloody exciting actually seeing this all together now. So I've got the canopy in the position that I need. All I'm going to do now basically is just drill out the holes that mounts it to the tray. So there's these holes, one on each corner, all 4 of them. I'm just going to probably get a Nico pen, poke down the hole, mark it, and then I'll take the canopy off, drill those holes out, and then basically we're just going to wait for this tray to get powder coated. I'll pull the guards off in the meantime. I might even get the tail lights if they arrive in time, drill the holes for those. I'll cut out the little sections here so I can mount the reverse lights as well as my number plate lights. Mock up where the number plate's going to go just while I'm waiting, because I've got about a week now before the tray goes in and gets powder coated. But yeah, how sick's that? It's actually starting to look how it's meant to look. I cruised around the Tyre, Power and Caloundra and got the reverse lights, and finally the tail lights rocked up, so I got cracking and fitting them to the tray before it went off to get powder coated. We get towards the tail end of it now. I've got the tail lights mocked up, the reverse lights mocked up. I haven't had a chance to run to the shops down the road to get the LED number plate lights, but I'll get those eventually. I've got to find a place for the reverse camera, but I'm kind of running out of time again as I've got to go to work. So this tray is getting painted at 2 o'clock today. So I need to get to work, get what I need to get done, and then get back quickly to get this tray off to the powder coaters. But very keen to see it all completed. So after a half day at work, I got back to the shed just in time to remove the tray and load it up for Brendan from Phat Coatings to send it off and make it look better than new. So today's the day I pick up the tray. I'm coming up with a bit of a funny little solution here. Because there is no tray, I've got guards. Went to Bunnings, I've got 2 pieces of timber here. Basically, just going to screw the guards to the timber, so I have guards and it's somewhat legal, so I can head down to Brendale and pick up this freshly painted tray. So today is the day, finally, to get this all back together. I've got pretty much everything I need. I've got the tail lights, the reverse lights, the canopy, all the boxes and guards, and everything's all painted. So let's get this thing assembled and see how good it looks.
No love, no feelings, I choke on the air I'm breathing. I'm done, I'm healing, ain't nobody stopping the bleeding. Death with demons on both sides, can't think no angel left inside. Jank to the static in my mind, and I can't hide. This rage I just can't escape, screaming at my face so loud I can't hear my voice. Breaking
So finally, we made it. Canopy and trays all together on the ute, and the thing looks freaking sick. It took me way longer than what I first anticipated with, you know, work getting in the way and a heap of other bits and pieces. But anyway, we got there in the end. You'll have to excuse the voice today. I'm a little bit crook. I got the man flu, so, you know, things are pretty dire. But anyway, let's check this thing out. So basically, we'll start at the back, I suppose. We've got the Maxi Lamp 355 LED tail lights. Got a set of steady little reverse lights here. The Narva number plate lights, little slimline number plate fits in there nice and neatly. Apex jerry can, little holder. I've been using that as actually a bin bag more than for fuel, because this ute's actually really good on fuel. I'm not used to ever getting over 350 k's a tank, so probably won't use a jerry can rack for fuel much, but it's pretty handy to have as a bin. These under tray toolboxes just tie in so nicely with these guards and the rest of the tray, but I may have done a little mischief and definitely tested the paint out on them. I ended up going for a cheeky little wheel and I let the ute up against the bank. This is back before I got the decent tyres and I got a little bit hung up, but anyway, they stayed there, so that's good. I put a fair bit of weight through them, and it just scratched the paint up a little bit, but didn't dent it, didn't crease it or bend it or anything. So that was a good little first test. Very happy I went with this length of canopy too. I've got enough space back here to put a dirt bike on the back, or some push bikes, firewood, dirty gear, whatever. In the future too, I might actually get the original sides, cut them down, and get them to fit back on here. That way I've got a little bit of room, so I can put firewood or a swag or whatever. That way it's all tied down and less chance of it falling off, which would be pretty handy. What I did too, because this is a nicer shaped canopy than just a basic commercial box, this crease is actually a lot further down as opposed to the standard canopies, which is sort of here. So it matches the body lines of these new modern utes really well, and I actually managed to get this line here lined up with that weld. All I did was get some little spaces made up. I'll just zoom the camera in. Just these little poly spaces. Actually, I think they're called high density plastic. They're super strong. They're 60mm spaces. Just got the canopy and tray sitting up nice and level, so it matches the profile of the ute. Now I've got heaps of room for a water tank. So I've actually got a water tank sitting at home that I'm going to bolt up under here. And that water tank, I'm just going to have it gravity fed. Probably just going to have a tap just at the back of the mudguard, maybe one on each side. Just a little ball valve. Keep it really simple. I'll put the filler up around here near the fuel filler. That way I got water wherever you go, which would be super handy. Inside, because we have used it a little bit so far, I've done a basic 12-volt setup. Just got a little cheap AGM battery, King's fridge, nothing too fancy. Mounted a hardcore solar panel just up on the roof up there. I just got the little hardcore battery charger up there. It's just running off solar currently. I haven't actually hooked up the 12-volt system of the canopy to the car yet, so all the charge input is just purely through solar, which on a good day, it's more than enough to run this little fridge that's in here at the moment. I've got no 12-volt plugs or lights or anything fancy at the moment. It's just purely just to run a fridge. I'll eventually put some nice strip lighting in here. I'll get a bit of like a, I don't know, electrical panel board up on this front headboard here. That way I've got things to charge and plug in with and all that. Might even chuck a little inverter in there eventually. I'll run the rest of the charging wires to the battery so everything can charge while I'm driving. I looked at a lot of fridges. I was going to get the Dometic ones, but like for the price of them, these fridges are $1,000 cheaper. And like retail, they were $600. Then for some reason, if you buy one of those clear top King's canvas bags, you save $220. So it was kind of a no-brainer. I'm like, a fridge for under 400 bucks. Why not? If it only lasts 2 years, I'll just buy another one. One thing too that I found really handy with fitting the fridge, because this canopy's got the false floor in it, you can just screw stuff straight into the floor. The last cheap canopy that I had to put a big timber floor through it, which added weight. Plus the canopy leaked and the floor went all rotten and horrible and it stunk and it was just a horrible mess. But this, it's just so easy to fit everything into. It's also got this C-channel all the way through it, so you can actually bolt all your accessories and hang down your little cabinet units and slide out pantries and all that sort of stuff. It just bolts straight in, save having to drill if you don't want to. So as for the reverse camera, I haven't actually worked out exactly where I'm going to put it yet. I was trying to work out where I was going to put it, and I put the wiring harness on the ground and I accidentally stood on it and just exploded the plug. So I'd either need a new wiring harness or I'll just cut the wires and graft it into a new plug. But either way, haven't worked out where I'm going to put it yet, whether I put it up in here, whether I put it lower, or whether I actually mount it up on the underneath the wing of the canopy. I'm not quite sure yet, but I need a harness to test the camera angles out. Another thing for the future mod list is I'm going to get a set of raised tow bar brackets too. These hang really low, the factory ones, because they have to sit underneath the factory tub, but I'll get some ones that get this tow bar in line with the chassis rails here. Just gets everything a lot higher and less things to hit when I'm off-road. Now I haven't done the full cost breakdown yet, but I will put the total of what it all costed up here somewhere, hopefully. Probably about there, maybe, if I can work out how to edit that into the video. And then you can work out whether it's a feasible thing for you guys to do or not. Now, of course, with everything, there's obviously cheaper ways of doing it, but realistically, to get a decent canopy like this that's not going to leak. You don't have to pay someone to weld it up later or repaint it if the paint fades. Toolboxes aren't going to leak as well, so all your gear will stay safe and dry. You can lock up properly. It's really worth it in my opinion. I've had cheap crap canopies before that are leaked. The floors are rotten out. I've paid stupid amounts of money, probably what the canopy was worth when I originally bought it, to continually weld up cracks in it to stop the thing from leaking and wobbling around with rooftop tents on them. At least I know for sure that this is strong and it's not going to go anywhere. The tray itself, I mean, if I could weld aluminium, I would have given it the crack myself, but there's absolutely no way I was going to give that a nudge. So I got someone who actually knows what they're doing, and Alec done a fantastic job with making that headboard match the canopy, done a really nice neat job of keeping that taillight section nice and strong and simple. Just yeah, very, very happy with how it's all turned out. The only thing that I should have done is before I got it powder coated, I should have drilled a hole just like this here and here. That way I got some more tie down points before Brendan for Phat Coatings powder coated. But anyway, I'll drill them out later. I'll just have to touch them up with a bit of black paint to make it all match. But after doing all this, finally, for the first time ever, I actually walked away from this ute, locked it, and I turned around and looked back at it. So that kind of gave me the impression that, you know, things are coming along and it's something I can be proud of finally. But that's definitely not the end of the mods. I've got a massive list. I just don't know what to do next. I know the speakers in the car and the little head unit thing does my head in. The speakers are terrible and the head unit's glitchy and it's terrible as well. So I'd really love to do that. I really love to insulate and sound deaden the inside of the cab as well while I'm at it, just to make the audio a little bit clearer and cut out a bit of road noise. I'd love to put a front locker in it. I'd love to get it tuned. I'd love to get the auto tuned. I'd love to re-gear it. I'd love to put a bull bar, a winch, a snorkel, airbox it, but I'm unsure as to what mods are more of a priority. So at the moment, I'm just going to get out there and I'm just going to use it, see what I need, and go from there. So if you have made it to the end of the video, really appreciate you guys watching. Hope it's given you a bit of inspiration to do a little bit of modifications on your ute, and yeah, get out there and enjoy them.